Hi, my name's Ali, and this is my makeup video for class number 22. So in the last video, we discussed plyometric exercises, the mechanical and neurophysiological side of it. In this video, I'm going to be discussing proper plyometric landing mechanics, including what correct technique looks like and common errors to avoid. I'm also going to explain how I would design a plyometric training program for a professional American football player, including the key program variables and exercise selection. Understanding proper landing mechanics is very important because plyometric training involves high forces, and without the proper technique, the risk of injury increases significantly. At the same time, proper technique also improves performance by allowing the body to efficiently absorb and produce force. When discussing proper landing mechanics, we often refer to something called the athletic position or athletic stance. First, I'll show you guys. During an athletic stance, first the feet should be shoulder width apart, back straight, knees are going to be slightly bent, just like this. This is going to be your most powerful position right here, and from here you can attack from under or whatever it may be in your sport. Forgot to mention the hips. They should also track directly in line with your toes. It's very important because if the knees collapse inwards, places a lot of stress on the ligaments of the knees, especially the ACL. The chest should always stay upright, and the core should be engaged. This helps to maintain proper posture and prevent excessive forward leaning or any other excessive movement. Another key aspect is landing softly and quietly. Quiet landing indicates that the athlete is properly absorbing force. If the landing is loud, it usually means that the athlete is landing too stiffly and not using the proper mechanics. We also want to see what is called triple flexion, meaning there is bending at the ankles, the knees, and the hips. This allows the body to distribute force across multiple joints, which reduces injury risk. In addition, balance and control are very important. After landing, the athlete should be stable and be able to hold the position briefly without wobbling or losing control. From a coaching perspective, some helpful cues could be land softly, sit back into your hips, keep your knees out, absorb the ground, stay balanced, etc. These cues, they really help reinforce proper movement patterns and improve technique over time. Another important concept is force absorption versus force production. So during landing, the goal is to absorb force efficiently. If the athlete cannot absorb force properly, they will not be able to produce force effectively in the next movement. This is especially important in plyometrics because movements are often repeated quickly. So proper landing mechanics directly affect performance in the next jump or the next movement. Now I'm gonna go over some common errors in landing techniques and explain why they could be problematic. One of the most common errors is knee valgus, where the knees collapse inwards, kind of look like backwards parentheses. This is dangerous because it places a lot of stress on the ACL and it increases the risk of some serious knee injuries. Another mistake is landing with stiff legs, meaning there is little to no bending at the knees and the hips. This reduces the body's ability to absorb the force, and it increases impact forces on the joints. A loud landing is usually a sign of poor technique. It's showing that the athlete's not controlling the landing and is not properly absorbing the force. Landing only on the toes without allowing the heels to make contact could be another issue. This limits force absorption and can lead to instability. Excessive forward leaning um, is also problematic because it shifts the center of your mass too forward, and it can lead to the loss of balance or improper force distribution. Another common error is the lack of control after landing, such as wobbling or needing to take extra steps to regain your balance. This indicates poor stability and neuromuscular control. All of these errors not only increase injury risk but also reduce performance. If an athlete cannot land properly, they cannot effectively and efficiently transition into the next movement, which is going to reduce the effectiveness of plyometric training. When designating a plyometric training program for a professional American football athlete, we need to consider few specific demands of the sport. Football requires explosive power, number one. Number two, speed, acceleration, deceleration, and the ability to change direction quickly. The first variable is consider the first variable to consider would be intensity. Since this is a professional athlete, the intensity of the exercises should be very high. This includes exercises like depth jumps and high box jumps. Oh my god. The second variable is volume. Even though the intensity is high, the total number of jumps should be controlled to avoid overtraining and reduce risk of injury. The third variable is frequency. Plyometric training is typically performed 2 to 3 times per week, depending on the athlete's overall training program. The fourth variable is going to be rest. Adequate rest between sets, usually around 2 to 3 minutes, is very important to maintain performance and ensure quality repetitions. We also need to consider progression. Athletes should start with lower intensity exercises to focus on proper technique and then gradually progress to more advanced movements. For example, they could start with basic jumps and progress to some depth jumps, some single leg hops, and reactive drills. Exercise selection should be very sports specific. It should translate exactly to what the athlete needs. For lower body power, exercises like box jumps, step jumps, and broad jumps are super effective. For upper body power, medicine ball throws and plyometric push-ups can be used. For lateral movements and agility, exercises like lateral bounds and single leg hops are important because football involves a lot of side-to-side shuffling and hops. Another important consideration is the direction of movement. Football is not just vertical, it also involves horizontal and lateral movements, so the program should include all planes of motion. The program should also include reactive drills where the athlete must respond quickly to a stimulus. This helps improve reaction time and gain performance. Overall, the goal of the program is to improve the rate of force development, which is how quickly an athlete can produce the force. This is critical in football, where those explosive movements happen in a very short time frame. In conclusion, proper landing mechanics are essential for both injury prevention and performance. Athletes must focus on maintaining proper alignment, absorbing force efficiently, and staying balanced. When designing a plyometric program for a football player, it's very important to consider intensity, volume, frequency, rest, and progression, as well as the sport-specific patterns. By combining proper technique with a well-designed programming, athletes can improve their power, speed, and overall performance, and most importantly of all, reduce the risk of injury. That will do it for class number 22's video, and that's it.